హాయ్ స్టూడెంట్స్, వెల్కమ్ టు కార్తికేయస్ అకాడమీ. మీరు యూనియన్ పబ్లిక్ సర్వీస్ కమిషన్కి ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నట్లయితే మన టార్గెట్ ఐఏఎస్ 2025 బ్యాచ్ అనేది ఏప్రిల్ మొదటి వారం స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందండి. దీంతో జనరల్ స్టడీస్తో పాటు ఆప్షనల్ పేపర్ కూడా అందించడం జరుగుతుంది. ఎవరైతే అభ్యర్థులు ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నారో మన కార్తికేయస్ అకాడమీ ఫోన్ నెంబర్ కాల్ చేసి మీకు రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ ఫినిష్ చేసుకోండి. 9000222478. ఆల్ ది బెస్ట్.
Hello everyone, welcome to Karthikeya's Academy. So today we are going to discuss daily current affairs analysis. So the first topic is ASHA employees and associated issues. So here ASHA refers to accredited social health activists. So, this is related to government policies and interventions. Coming to the context, accredited social health activists, ASHA recent demonstration in Bengaluru highlights ongoing worries about their wages and working conditions, highlighting issues with India's rural healthcare system. So, their main worries are about wages and the working conditions. So, what are all the duties of ASHA employees who are there? Let's see. In 2002, Chhattisgarh appointed women as maintenance or community health workers, marking the beginning of groundbreaking paradigm shift in community healthcare. Maintenance acted as a link between local needs and distant health institutions, advocating on behalf of impoverished people. So, motivated by maintenance success, the federal government started the ASHA program in 2005-2006 under the National Rural Health Mission. In 2013, the National Urban Health Mission was introduced, bringing the program to cities. So, trained to serve as a licensed people between the public health system and the community, ASHA workers are chosen from within the village and answer to it. So, they are mostly rural women between the age of 25 to 45 who are preferably at least 10th grade literate. సో అందరికీ తెలిసినట్టే ఆశా వర్కర్స్ అని అంటారు మన యూజువల్గా. వీరందరూ రూరల్ ఉమెన్. సో వీరందరూ 25 ఏజ్ నుంచి 45 ఏజ్ వరకు లోపు ఉంటారు. అండ్ దేర్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ క్వాలిఫికేషన్ ఈస్ 10th grade literate. So one ASHA typically exists for every 100,000 individuals. Nevertheless, depending on workload, this ratio may be changed to one ASHA per habitation in tribal, hilly and desert areas. So coming to the principal accountabilities, when it comes to health related requirements, they operate as the initial point of contact, particularly for women and children. So they offer advice on immunization, contraception, breastfeeding, safe delivery, birth preparation, and the avoidance of common diseases. They make health services offered at Anganwadi, sub-centers and primary health centers more accessible to the community. So they serve as depots for necessities such as contraceptives, IFA pills and ORS. So what difficulties do ASHA employees face? Let's see. The first aspect is heavy workload. So because of their wide range of responsibilities, ASHAs are frequently overburdened with a number of tasks that can occasionally become burdensome. So they themselves continue to be vulnerable to non-communicable diseases, anemia and malnutrition. Insufficient remuneration. This is the second aspect, second problem which are facing by ASHA workers. So ASHAs who mostly depend on little honorariums have financial difficulties made worse by late payments and out of pocket costs. So inadequate acknowledgement. The efforts made by ASHAs are not always appreciated or acknowledged, which can cause them to feel undervalued and frustrated. So absence of supportive infrastructure. ASHAs have difficulties because of insufficient infrastructure such as restricted access to medical supplies, communication facilities and modes of transportation. This makes it more difficult for them to perform their jobs well. So coming to the prejudice on the basis of the gender and caste within the healthcare system, ASHAs who are primarily women from underprivileged communities face prejudice on the basis of both gender and caste. So the way ahead, formalize employment status. In order for ASHA employees to have a formalized employment status, Inside the healthcare system, they must have more from voluntary posts. They would receive regular pay, employment security, access to perks like paid time off, and health insurance as a result. So, acknowledgement and incentives, putting in place official programs for acknowledging the accomplishments and the contributions of ASHA employees. So, these programs could include performance based on bonuses, public recognition events, or certificates or appreciation. In the current healthcare system, they also need to be given the chance to grow in their careers and become auxiliary nurse midwives, ANMs. So, coming to the next topic, modification of the surrogacy regulations. This is a very important topic for UPSC and at the same time for APPSC. So, coming to the context, the surrogacy regulation rules 2022 have been changed by Indian government, permitting married couples to use a donor's egg or sperm in the event that one spouse has a medical issue. So, this nullified an earlier rule change that forbade the usage of donor gametes and was made in 2023. So, which are all the amended surrogacy rules, principles, provisions? So, let's see. Coming to the background, couples with certain medical issues were not allowed to have biological children through surrogacy. Instead, the rules were altered in March 2023 and only allowed the intended people to use their own gametes. A woman with Mayer-Rokitansky-Kuster-Hauser (MRKH) syndrome, a hereditary condition that causes infertility, challenged illegally before the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court voiced doubts about the effectiveness of these laws, claiming that they went against the core goals of surrogacy. So recently amended provisions, if one spouse is in the intended couple, it is certified by the district medical board to need donor gametes because of a medical issue, then surrogacy using donor gametes is permitted. So it requires that surrogate mothers who are divorced or widowed utilize their own eggs in addition to donor sperm. So what is a surrogate? Let's see. A woman referred to as a surrogate mother consents to bear or give birth to the child on behalf of another person or couple referred to as the intended parents. So coming to the categories, let's see what are the types of surrogacies. Conventional surrogacy, gestational surrogacy, and the commercial surrogacy. Conventional, gestational, and the commercial. So coming to the conventional surrogacy, it entails fertilizing the surrogate's egg with the intense father's sperm. So coming to the gestational surrogacy, in this type of surrogacy, the surrogate and the child are not biologically linked. So coming to the surrogacy agreement, altruistic surrogacy is a term used to describe a surrogacy contract in which the surrogate receives only payment for connected fees and medical expenses. So coming to the next type, commercial surrogacy. This type of surrogacy entails a written contract in which the surrogate mother is paid in addition to being reimbursed for her medical bills and other pregnancy related expenses. So the impact details of the surrogacy agreement, the location and the law may all have an impact on the remuneration. So what other rules do Indian laws concerning surrogacy? Permissibility. As per the surrogacy, it is only allowed for charitable purposes or for couples who have a medical condition or the confirmed infertility. So it is expressly forbidden to use commercial surrogacy, including for sale or other forms of exploitation. So the spouse must have the age of 26 and 55 for the wife and 25 to 50 for the husband, save in the event of children with impairments of life-threatening conditions. The couple is not allowed to have any living children, whether biological, adopted or surrogacy. Requirements for a surrogate mother. The surrogate mother needs to be a couple's close relative. She need to be a married mother of one or more children. So she must be aged of 25 and 35. She must have never previously served as a surrogate. Parental status at birth. So the child is officially acknowledged as the intense couple's biological child at birth. In accordance with the guidelines, the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, the surrogate mother and the appropriate authorities must both give their approval for the fetus to be aborted. So coming to the next topic, Language Atlas of IGNCA. Here IGNCA refers to Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts. So coming to the context, an independent organization under the Ministry of Culture, the Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts IGNCA is organizing a language survey throughout India. So the goal is to produce an extensive language atlas that will highlight the nation's linguistic variety. So let's see how diverse a linguistic landscape in India. So in that, the first aspect is archive of past census data. Sir George Abraham Grierson conducted the first and most Thorough Linguistic Survey of India (LSI), which was published in 1928. So since 1971, the Indian census has excluded languages spoken by less than 10,000 people, meaning that 1.2 million people's native tongues remain unrecorded. So 22 languages specified in Schedule 8 of the Indian Constitution are currently recognized officially in India. So according to the 2011 census, there are another 99 non-scheduled languages, 37.8 million individuals claim one of these as their mother tongue. So in India, there are 121 languages that at least 10,000 people speak. So coming to the India's multilingualism. So being one of the world's most linguistically diverse nations, India provides Indians with a special chance to be multilingual or able to communicate in more than one language. In India, around 25% of people speak two languages and roughly 7% speak people three languages. So according to the 2011 census, according to the studies, young Indians speak more than one language, with around half of urban population between the ages of 15 and 49 speaking two languages. So coming to the what standout features does the suggested linguistic survey offer? So it suggests achieving all spoken languages audio records digitally, along with the different language community stakeholders in the survey include Ministry of Culture, Education, Tribal Affairs and others. So why is a linguistic survey important? So why is LSI is important? The first aspect is safeguarding cultural legacy. In order to preserve linguistic diversity and cultural legacy, linguistic surveys aid in the identification and documentation of languages, dialects and scripts. Coming to the next one, formulation of policy. And the next one is planning for education. Understanding the languages used in the various local facilities, the creation of educational curriculum that accommodate a range of linguistic origins and advance inclusive education. So the next one is empowerment of communities and investigating and recording, encouragement of bilingualism. So the way ahead adopts laws that support teaching regional languages in addition to Hindi and English to guarantee that pupils are fluent in both their native language and the language that is commonly spoken, support bilingual education. So set guidelines for regional languages and assist in the documentation and preservation of endangered languages via digital archives, linguistic study and oral history preservation. By means of communicator-driven language revitalization initiatives enable linguistic communicators to assume responsibility for their languages. So coming to the last topic, private schools are exempt from the RTE quota admissions. So here coming to the context and the specific circumstances, private unaided schools are exempted from the statutory 25% admission quota for underprivileged groups and weaker sections. according to new gadget notification from the Maharashtra School Education Department. So the notification came from Maharashtra School Education Department. So with this action, Maharashtra follows Karnataka's 2018 rule and Kerala's 2011 regulations exempting private schools from RTE admissions. So these regulations allow fee discount only in cases where there are no government or aided schools with a reasonable walking distance, which is fixed at 1 kilometer for class 1 children. So why did states implement these exemptions? Let's see. The State Law Minister of Karnataka said in 2018 that the primary goal of the RTE, so let's see what is the goal of the RTE, to provide education to all pupils, pointing out that enrollment in government schools had been significantly decreased by the state's prior policy, allowing parents to enroll their children in private schools close to government schools. So a judge is now reviewing the 2018 Gazette notification issued by Karnataka government. So as required by the government section 12C of the RT Act, which requires state government to reimburse schools for pre-child expenses or the fee amount, whichever is low. Private schools or teachers organizations have observed that state governments frequently fail to reimburse fees for students admitted under this quota. So what effects does this exemption likely have? So experts have questioned whether the state has the right to change the central law, claiming that notification is illegal and ought to be disregarded. So arguments in support: the Maharashtra government has made it very clear that the amendments made were to the rules drafted in 2011 and 2013, not the original statute, and the states are empowered under section 38 of the RT Act to create regulations for its implementation. The new regulations have been well received by private unaided schools who claim they will result in more pupils attending public schools. So the Maharashtra government's actions raises questions about equality and the children from marginalized households access to high quality education, even while it would lessen some of the financial constraints on private schools and possibly increase enrollment in government schools. It's still difficult to strike a balance between promoting private education and making sure everyone has access to an inclusive education. Thank you for watching our video. Please like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you.
కార్తికేయస్ అకాడమీ విశాఖపట్నం నుంచి బోత్ ఆఫ్లైన్ మరియు ఆన్లైన్లో ఏపీఎస్సి గ్రూప్ 2 మెయిన్స్ మాడ్యూల్ అనేది మార్చి 4వ తారీఖు నుంచి ప్రారంభిస్తున్నామండి. అయితే అడ్మిషన్స్ ఆల్రెడీ మార్చ్ 1 నుంచి మొదలు పెట్టాము. సో ఎవరైతే అభ్యర్థులు ఏపీఎస్సి గ్రూప్ 2 మెయిన్స్ ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నారో వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా ఈ మాడ్యూల్ని పర్చేస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. సో మా కార్తికేయస్ అకాడమీ ఫోన్ నెంబర్ కాల్ చేస్తే ఈ మాడ్యూల్ డీటెయిల్స్ అనేది మీకు అందిస్తారు. అండ్ అతి తక్కువ ఫీ స్ట్రక్చర్లతో, అంటే ఏపీ మొత్తంలో మీరు తీసుకుంటే అతి తక్కువ ఫీ స్ట్రక్చర్ తోటి లైకమ్ రికార్డ్ మాడ్యూల్ని అంటే ఆఫ్లైన్ మాడ్యూల్ని ఒక సిస్టమాటిక్ ఆర్డర్లో అందిస్తున్నటువంటి సంస్థ మన కార్తికేయ. ప్రతి సంవత్సరం కూడా బెస్ట్ రిజల్ట్ని అందిస్తున్నామండి. ఎవ్రీ వీక్ స్కాలర్షిప్ టెస్టులు పెడుతున్నాము అండ్ టెస్ట్ సిరీస్ కూడా అద్భుతంగా డిజైన్ చేసినటువంటి అంశం మాకు కనిపిస్తుంది. నా ఫీ స్ట్రక్చర్ చూస్తే మీకు ఏపీఎస్సి గ్రూప్ 2 మెయిన్స్ జస్ట్ 2999 అండి. సో దీంట్లో గొప్ప విషయం ఉంది, మీరు ఏపీఎస్సి కోర్స్ పర్చేస్ చేసిన తర్వాత మీరు క్వాలిఫై అవుతారు డెఫినెట్గా. సో క్వాలిఫై అయిన తర్వాత కార్తికేయస్ అకాడమీ నుంచి ఒక స్కాలర్షిప్ కూడా మీరు అందుకోవచ్చు. అండ్ ఈ కోర్స్ ప్రధానంగా ఆఫ్లైన్ మరియు ఆన్లైన్లో ఉంటుంది, లైకమ్ రికార్డింగ్ ఉంటుందండి. అండ్ ఈ 2999 వచ్చేసి ఓన్లీ ఆన్లైన్ లైవ్ ప్లస్ ఆన్లైన్ విద్యార్థులకు మాత్రమే. ఆఫ్లైన్ ప్రైస్ మరి వేరే విధంగా ఉంటుంది. మీరు ఈ నెంబర్ కాల్ చేసి తీసుకోవచ్చు. టాప్ ఫ్యాకల్టీస్ ఉంటారండి కార్తికేయలో. హిస్టరీ కానవచ్చు, సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ, జాగ్రఫీ, పాలిటీ అన్ని సబ్జెక్ట్స్కి ఎక్స్పర్ట్ ఫ్యాకల్టీస్ ఉంటారు. అండ్ బోత్ మీడియం తెలుగు అండ్ ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం ఉంటుందండి. అండ్ ఫైనల్గా సో టెస్ట్ సిరీస్ కూడా అద్భుతంగా ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. సో ఎవరైతే గ్రూప్ 2 మెయిన్స్ ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నారో వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా ఈ కోర్స్ని పర్చేస్ చేయొచ్చు. మన కార్తికేయ ఐఎస్ అకాడమీ మొబైల్ యాప్ కింద డిస్క్రిప్షన్ బాక్స్లో లింక్ ఇస్తామండి, మీరు డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. అక్కడ గత సంవత్సర కాలం నుంచి కొన్ని సంవత్సరాల నుండి మంచి కంటెంట్ అనేది మీకు ఆర్డర్లో అరేంజ్ చేసి పెట్టడం జరిగింది. వాటిని మీరు ఫ్రీగా యాక్సెస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. అలాగే టెస్ట్ సిరీస్ కూడా అక్కడ అవైలబిలిటీగా ఉంటుంది. అండ్ డిఫరెంట్ కోర్సెస్ కూడా దాంట్లో ఉన్నాయి, మీరు హ్యాపీగా చూసుకొని మీకు సబ్జెక్ట్ వైజ్ కూడా చాలామంది గ్రూప్ 2 మెయిన్స్ ప్రిపేర్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు 4 సబ్జెక్ట్స్ కనిపిస్తాయి. ఒకటి ఏపీ హిస్టరీ, రెండవది ఇండియన్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్, తర్వాత మీకు సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ అండ్ ఏపీ అండ్ ఇండియన్ ఎకానమీ. ఇలా సబ్జెక్ట్ వైజ్ కూడా అక్కడ పర్చేస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. లేదు అంటే కంబైన్ సబ్జెక్ట్స్ కూడా సిలబస్ అంతా ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి మీరు పర్చేస్ చేసుకొని ప్రిపరేషన్ మొదలుపెట్టండి.